Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a model kit and hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave Lego of the site emote in chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you're not a subscriber, you can just say hi or use someone else's emotes. And if you don't want to chat, you don't have to chat. Aristofan's here. What's up, Aristofan? The T is here. Hello, the T. Got a great crew already getting started with this. Working on the H2 Magnum. We have completed the upper part of the kit with the exception of the extra like funnel kind of shoulder things that are coming in later. And we've started on the waist, which we will finish, and then work on the legs. That's right. We build the waist before the legs, which is somewhat unusual for a kit like this. Dirty's here and Lashberg is here. Welcome, both of y'all. Welcome, welcome, everybody that's here. We got a great crowd already. Happy for this for a Saturday night. Um, don't have a lot planned for this evening. We will talk a bit. What happened here? Because it's got real high. I got sunburn on my face, and I'm annoyed by it. Hopefully, it won't hurt. But it is frustrating. I got burnt up here. Um, because I was doing stuff outside, not wearing a bandana, which was a mistake. Anyway, like I said, I don't have a lot planned for tonight. Talk about some manga, talk about some anime. Um, this is why you never go outside. That's right, the T. I made a mistake. I went outside. We can talk a little bit about a little crowdfunding thing. Um, Maybe an update on the Garbage Man. 1 week later, or update on a particular garbage person and the silliness of their attempt to rebrand their Twitter account immediately as a some sort of uh, uh, like wonderful philanthropist, which is just hilarious. It's just fucking funny. I'll look at the tweet later, but we can make fun of the former CEO of a particular company who decided they were going to make a big grand statement last weekend, and then um, they're fucking around, found out. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if we want to talk about that. I don't know. Maybe we will. Um, I don't particularly want to talk about 9/11. It is the 20th anniversary of 9/11. I moved to New York in October of 2001. Towards the end of 2001. Um, sorry, to the end of October, I should say. While I was not there for the attacks, I did move there and was there for much of the fallout. Uh, yeah. So I will say that the number of deaths with COVID, Harold is host the stream. Thank you for the host, Harold. Obviously the numbers, yeah, you can make that as the T does, but psychologically, as someone that lived in the city of New York, it is different. It's a different thing. And I think in anything, when you compare those things, it is important to think about the human factor and the human cost. But it was a strange city to move to. So yeah, I was thinking a lot about that, just the weirdness of that year. Um, yeah, very strange to move to New York so shortly after that. Um, but I did. And I moved to New York, and then after a couple of months, I ended up moving because I was staying just in random places. I ended up moving into a place in Jersey City, and when I got there, the PATH train was all kinds of weird. Jersey City is in New Jersey. PATH train is a way to connect New Jersey and New York, but one of the trains used to go to the World Trade Center and didn't, and so all the trains had been redirected, and it was um, interesting to go there. Uh, so it was a very strange time in New York. And I guess I'll leave it at that. I always said like this, the first people to joke about 9/11 were New Yorkers, and the last people that should joke about 9/11 are everybody else. And I say that as somebody that didn't live in New York when it happened, moved there very quickly, but also lived in New York for like 17 years, 18 years. So, I lived there a while, but even I didn't necessarily joke about it. Not that I don't think you can't joke about things, but I think you gotta be good. Your jokes have to be good. You have to be smart about the jokes you make, and that includes stuff like that. And I think we're gonna leave that at that. I think. Anyway, I'm gonna retweet my tweet, and we're gonna get into some model kit building because we are. But as always, folks, we can talk about serious stuff. We can talk about the hard things. We can talk about good things and bad things here. This is entertainment. It is not escapism. Um, and there are sometimes where there's things I don't fucking want to talk about, and then I just say, "Hey, we're not going to talk about that tonight." But that's generally because I'm in not the mood for it. But overall, we're going to build some robots. Yeah, let's build some impossibly strong, incredibly large, incredibly destructive robots that should not be part of a human society. I'll get the Magnum over here. I'm going to move that because that is my keyboard being in shot. So we'll get that going here. As you can see, top part of this is done. There will be more parts that go on here, but we can put that, we'll just put that like over here so you can kind of see what it is. But working on the waist. We can talk about where the hell is my Millennium Puzzle Bandai? Yes, Lashbrook. It was supposed to arrive in August, but has not left. Look, at the very least, I can tell you, I hope that we get it this month, Lashbrook. My hope is that it arrives soon, and then USA Gundam Store, who I pre-ordered mine from, will be able to turn it over very fast. I expect to start seeing the Gundam people who get stuff at a relatively early clip from Japan. I'm going to start, as soon as they see it, then it'll be sometime after that, we'll start seeing that stuff. And I think that's just, unfortunately, the best we're going to get. Because, yeah, I think everything that's supposed to come this year, which for me is the Millennium Puzzle, which was supposed to be in August, but it's now September, supposedly this month. The Ifrit Custom, the Gundam Barbatos, which are in October releases supposedly, and the Live Lance Heaven, which is supposed to come out in November. The Barbatos and Live Lance, I could see those getting pushed. The Ifrit Custom might not because it's a premium and is most likely a rebuild of a previous kit. International shipping is generally fucked up. Yeah, Aristfan, I mean, that's definitely part of it. Most of it is just production costs in Japan are through the roof for plastics. They are just dealing with some shit over there. So, yes, last week says what isn't at this point. Totally, yeah. But yeah, international shipping certainly isn't great right now. And then added in the production costs and issues that people are running into. So we got to do this here. We're building the waist right now, so I'm getting the components I need for that, and we'll do that there. But yeah, hopefully, like I said, I think the Ifrit is the one that shouldn't be pushed on shipping as much because it is, I believe this is just a reissue instead of like new molds that need to get built. But don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure about that. But I think that'll arrive. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just want that Millennium puzzle real bad. I want to build that ASAP. So hopefully I'll be able to. So I guess I'll talk about this a little bit. I did a little bit of crowdfunding yesterday, just a small amount of, hey, I have this thing, I need a little help. It was just a GoFundMe. I put a link up. 2 hours later, I retweeted the link. Some people retweeted it. Some people came through, some old friends, some people I don't know, but know me from what I do. Some people that know me for years, because I had some debt that I was looking to pay off as soon as possible because interest was coming due. And I struggled to pay off this debt, this dental debt, as fast as possible because the basic, the plan was, okay, if I pay this off, then I won't have interest on it. And then, that'll be great. And I'll just keep paying. ran into some issues last month where some payments just never came. I'm supposedly getting paid very soon, but they keep saying that for some contract work I did, because that is unfortunately the thing about contract work is, it's you'll get paid at some point, hopefully. So I did a bit of a GoFundMe just to be like, hey, this is the money I need to raise. Uh, it was the money I needed plus a little bit for, because they, GoFundMe takes their cut. So I raised like a little bit more than I asked for, a little bit more than I needed, and then I got more than I asked for, which is incredibly great. Which means I can pay that off with no problem, which is incredibly generous. And then yeah, and it was just like, oh, whew, it's just that, and this. Well, just move my chair over a little bit. Sorry, I'm not centered. Um, there we go. The real thing about it is, uh, it's a shitty position to be in, and don't like asking for help in that way, um, because like, hey, asking for you to buy something off my wish list, asking people to hang out here and become a subscriber. That stuff is like, well, I stream, so these are ways to help me stream. Like that to me feels like it's a no-brainer. But when it comes down to like, hey, I have medical debt and I don't want to go into further debt, so I would like to pay that off. Like that's it's a weird ask, but I'm happy that people were able to help out. And look, I'm gonna pay it forward. I'm gonna help other people out. There will be a time where I am once again in a position to be able to help people, and I will certainly do that. It is not a thing I take lightly. The fact that people are willing to help me out is incredibly generous. But yeah, and then at some point, I'm gonna get paid for that work that I did, and then I'll be able to buy some model kits with that money, so that'll be good. Uh, Trying to build up my backlog a little bit. Right now, I've got three high grades and a master grade in my backlog, which is good. That's a good amount. High grades are 2 streams at most builds, so they go pretty quickly. The master grade I bought at Christmas time. I should really build that Strike Noir, because it's just been sitting there. So, but it never wins my $10 patron polls. I put the poll up to what to build next, and it never wins those polls. So at some point, I'm just gonna have to just build it and be like, yeah, whatever. This is the next thing I build. But we'll see. It's because I keep adding cool stuff. Obviously, this kit I'm building because it was bought off my Amazon wish list. So shout outs to Chris Weed. So I gotta build that. But yeah, I didn't even look at my Amazon list here. I usually, before a stream, I'll go in and I will um, organize the list and kind of like make it so the costs or whatever. But because sometimes things fluctuate, like a thing is on my list and suddenly it doesn't have free shipping anymore, so it costs way more, or it suddenly does have free shipping, so then it goes down in price or whatever, or it's on weirdly on sale and you can get it for way cheaper. So I usually go through. Looks like everything's in order though, so that's good. Um, all right, let me find this tweet as we're building the back of this kit here. Let me see if I can find this tweet from this person. I'll take a look at it. So, um, I have talked about, and this will hopefully be the last time I talk about the former CEO of Tripwire Interactive. Um, and so you may remember John Gibson. John Gibson is the person who basically tweeted their support of the Texas bans on abortion and the civil enforcement of said bans. And as I said, like, oh, like I don't like getting political, but which you definitely do, my friend. But you know, like it's important to stand for the values, especially if you know, like I'm, you know, whatever, and I'm one of the pro-life devs out there or whatever. And it was like, okay. And then the response was, "Hey, fuck you," including the people that were like, "We are looking to cancel our contracts with Tripwire," and then the people that couldn't say that were like, "We are. This is not our core values." And then the company was like, "Hey, he's stepping down. Yikes!" So, um, as of a couple days ago, his Twitter bio was he had the you know his banner image was "Killing Floor Incursion," which is a video game, uh, and then his bio was President Tripwire Interactive, and had the website and whatever. Um, and that has been modified. This particular gentleman has modified that. Uh, and now John Gibson, his bio is does not have the website listed anymore, and his bio is currently full-time philanthropist. Easy enough for me to say. Currently full-time philanthropist, continuing helping the poor and underprivileged of the world, including orphans and widows. And I'm going to say that fucking one more time because it bears repeating that this is what this dude is like. This is my bio on my Twitter account is currently full-time philanthropist, continuing helping the poor and underprivileged of the world, including orphans and widows. And then his uh, new bio photo is him with like a bunch of people. And it look, I don't want to say that it's photoshopped. That his image, his banner image, is him with like a bunch of kids, but it definitely fucking looks photoshopped. And his profile, his Twitter image went from being him in VR glasses to him hugging someone. So motherfucker's trying to do a makeover. How can people be mad at him? He helps orphans and widows. That's right, Lashbrook. Weird. Full-time philanthropist is my current job as well. What a jerk. Orphans and widows. Is he going to start asking for 5 cents a day? Twitter picture idea: hugging someone while wearing VR goggles. That's also pretty good. But yeah. So that dude. Look, it's one of those things where you're like, this is very funny because it is that defense of like, I don't know why people are attacking me. I do all this stuff. It's just like, well, look, if that is true, if these are things that you do, you didn't think it was important enough to talk about that before now. So, what's up, dude? That wasn't important in your bio before, is that all this philanthropy. And now I also like it's like, hey, yeah, man, when I get fired, I also have a lot of free time to help people. Sounds great, dude. Uh fucking yikes. Um Complete notes. Also just the change from an ad for Killing Floor to hey, check out what I do. Look at me with all these people in this photo that may be photoshopped. I didn't look close enough to see what's photoshopped. That could be considered slander, so I do want to say I don't know if it's photoshopped or not. But I will say that it is pretty fucking hilarious, and that dude can go fuck himself forever. But it is very goddamn funny that he's just like, oh, I'm a philanthropist. Now I'm full time at it instead of part time. I do a lot for the community. Uh, please, please, do not continue to dunk on me. Also, as I said before, um, the direct. So one thing is great is his Twitter timeline is photo of him unmasked in Seattle, saying, "Hey, I'm excited to be here at PAX," and in the background you can see people wearing masks, and then that statement, and then some sort of pseudo apology that is not really an apology. It's mostly just like sorry that people felt bad that I work with is basically it, and then change your Twitter bio. and it's just fucking funny. Um, Obviously that dude sucks shit, but it is very funny to have those sorts of comeuppance. And like I said, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Look, people are entitled to their bullshit, stupid, garbage opinions. It's just sometimes people want to make those opinions laws, and I don't like that. And then also, your nonsense garbage opinions are yours, except I also get mine, and sometimes mine are fuck you. So it's the give and take. It's the circle of life. If you don't start any shit, there won't be any shit. And that is a life lesson you can take to the bank, friends. Uh, that you know, look, sometimes bad things happen to good people, but also sometimes bad people fuck around and then they find out, and it's great. It's great when that happens. People are entitled to their bullshit opinions unless those people have money. Yeah, I mean, it is it is a thing where it's like, look, that dude can think whatever he wants, but when he starts putting those things out into the world and starts directly negatively affecting people, then it's like, all right, well, that's it then. Now people get to say no to you instead of you just being a fucking dude who says dumb shit. And people are like, no, 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 no. Your dumb shit now affects my paycheck, so get the fuck out of here. All right, we finished the waist, which looks pretty fucking cool. I like the back here moves. I think that's neat. I believe these hold weapons in the back here. This part, it's pretty fucking cool. Um, I should clarify. My bullshit opinion is no one should have money. Oh, there you go, the tape. I mean, capitalism is a fuck, so you're not wrong. I'm just, I tweeted about this. So we hit the mid 70s here, temperature wise, and in their infinite wisdom, my folks decided today was a great day to turn the air conditioning off and crack open all the windows. But you see, there's a problem with that decision. My room is really hot without air conditioning because I got a window, but I also got a big computer that sits on this desk and pumps out heat and several lights on so that I'm nice and bright and you can see my fucking face. So this room is very warm right now, and it's gonna be have to cool off a lot more outside before this is comfortable. Because right now, this is not comfortable. This sucks. Lesberg says the bummer is he also gained like 6,000 followers. Oh yeah, I mean look, so some of those followers are going to be people that are like, finally, someone saying, talking like it is, right? There's definitely people who are like, oh, this is the kind of person I want to follow. But you also have to understand that Twitter is a train wreck, and so some people are following because they were like, I want to see what other dumb bullshit this person says. And those people will quit when they realize that this dude is going to go radio silent, is not going to spout more dumbass opinions that can get ratioed. So people will eventually unfollow him. It's kind of temporary. Both people that are looking for more inflammatory things because they agree with those inflammatory things, and people who are looking to see if he fucks around again. So it is somewhat temporary. But like I said, there are people who are just like, yeah, that's my dude. And that does suck. So I don't know about this specific instance, but a ton of times when people like this get a lot of followers, it turns out mostly to be fake accounts, bots. So also the T, yes. Part of that is because he's being ratioed, right? That tweet was being retweeted a lot and dunked on by a lot of people, and those dunks were getting likes. And so definitely that could be bots that are following account uh, that are looking for follows back. Totally. That would not surprise me if that is also part of this. But who knows? But anyway, it's hot here. That was the other thing. That was the thing I was saying. It's hot and I don't like it. I would like it to be less hot, or for the air conditioning to come back on, because it's just gonna be warm in this room. Now, when I turn my computer off, when I open the door, which I don't want to open the door now because it it's I'm making a lot of noise in here, and so I would like to not have that for my folks. Um, but basically, at a certain point, it will get cooler in here, and that'll be great. But right now, it is not cool. It is hot as hell. Uh, Now that I've moved, it's so much cooler already than where I moved from. Love it. That's awesome to T. Glad to hear that. But yeah, it is. It's very hot, and I would like it to not be. And I can get it cooler in here, but like, yeah, I don't want the door open while I'm streaming because I'm talking for 2 hours straight into a microphone, and sometimes they get loud. So I'm not looking to disturb people in this house. Also, because my mother will go to sleep before I am done streaming. So I would like to be quiet if I can. And then, like at night, I'll open the door to of a room, and the computer will be off, and eventually it will stop producing hot air as it cools a my GPU and the CPU. And I also have to at some point clean my computer again because that will also uh, the fans won't have to run as hot or as much if I can clean my computer. Not it won't be a tremendous help, but it'll be a help. So I gotta do that. All right, we're working on the legs right now, so we can get into that. Excited to work on that. But yeah, we're at this like time of year I don't love where it's sometimes not hot enough. Although it's going to get hot again, we are due for more heat over here, so it will get warm again, and then I will be able to have air conditioning, which will be great. But yeah, I'm just sweating. I don't like it. Not here for that. Not interested. Um, my window's open. Don't love that because I have a decent gate on this microphone, but who knows? There could be a real loud noise, and then that would be disruptive. And I don't particularly want that. All right, so we need this. Oh, I need K again. Again. Right, so this is going to look like this, and that goes. Wait, move this real carefully here. This one is which one is the up? This is the up, and that's that there. Okay, so it goes like this, and that goes here. Okay, doing that. I think I'm doing this right. We'll find out later if I did this right, but I think I'm doing this correctly. There's some interesting gimmicks to this kit. I've been pleasantly surprised by how many like interesting ideas this kit is playing around with. Um, that's been pretty great. Hey, let's let me go over here. Sorry, seeing a message of some sort. Oh, okay. It's just that thing about that dog. There's a video, you can go to my Twitter. There's a dog that runs onto the field and interrupts a cricket game, a women's cricket game. Um, and the dog's on the field. And if you're like, well, Pat, the dog in the field, that's not a big deal. It's not like the dog like disrupts the game by grabbing the ball and running around with it. And the answer to that is yes, that's exactly what happens. Um, to the point where one of the commentators is like, haha, there's a dog there. And then like 15 seconds later is like, the dog has stopped play. The dog has stopped. And then they can barely say anything because they're laughing so hard because it is hilarious. And then somebody on the pitch just like squats down and does this, and then the dog comes to them so they can get the ball back, which is hysterical. And I don't need to know more, but I wouldn't mind knowing more of like what's up with that dog. Is that like somebody knows that dog? How did that dog get out there in the field? How did no one stop that dog? What's up? What's going on? Like I wouldn't mind knowing more about that dog, but I don't know more about that dog. All right, so how does this look? I have to excuse me. Um, okay. So that goes in like this, and then this goes. The part that sits out is here. Okay. I think I got this. Okay, yeah. This just has a lot of movement. It's weird. There. Okay. Yeah, this just has a ton of movement around. This is just like the knee. This armor is going to be like part of the knee armor here, and that way it can move around a bit. I think that's what it does. All right, I think I'm getting this now. And yeah, that. Okay. Yep. All right. I think I got this. Um, okay. Let's talk about some. Hey, let's talk about some manga. I've read some manga, and I'm going to get it ready in. Bring up my Nightbot commands. I forgot to bring my Nightbot commands in. I don't know if I updated them. I think I did. So I'll get that real quick here. All right. So did I do this right? Yes, I think I did this knee part right. Yeah. Okay. I think I did these knees correctly. All right, let me find my commands here and we'll talk about some manga. Because that's the thing we do on these streams. Is that, is it, oh, live freely in another world? Is that the one I wanted to say? Yes. Great. I remembered to update it. I wasn't sure if I remembered to update it, but I did. Okay, here's the manga list. This is going to be the books that I have been checking out. I keep wanting to say shows. I got 4 of them. Some of them are very long titles. The first one is I Will Live Freely in Another World with Equipment Manufacturing Cheat. Um, this is your usual tale of dude gets accidentally summoned. He was not meant to be summoned. And they don't understand his power, and he's dismissed. Because he has the equipment manufacturing skill. He can make stuff, but he also like can do a bunch of other things he's not supposed to be able to do because they don't understand how important his thing is. And basically, then they're like, because he doesn't have combat skills, so like get out of here. But he has unlimited storage and he can like make things and do a bunch of crafting. So eventually, they're like, actually, we need that dude because the heroes are struggling, but he escapes before he can be forced into doing something he doesn't want to do, which is great for him. All right, so I need G18 here. So the best part of it is though is that he can make animal companions. He basically like gets drops that no one else can see, which is a very clever thing. Like as if he's playing a video game, and then he gets cards which he can use to summon creatures. And so he has a kobold that just looks like a fox, but he names it Poochie, which is cute. I think that's fun and cute. So he's got his little Poochie friend. And then Poochie can cook and is cute, and he's got a little bird. He's got a great golem, and so he's got this giant cool golem, and then he's got a big slime, like a king slime that is just like he only. I stopped. He just brought him out the first time when I stopped reading it, but the giant slime like beat all these bandits, and he's just like, "Master, please let me fight more," which is great. The golem can't communicate telepathically, so the golem writes stuff in the sand so that so people can read. It's great. Everybody has like a sash or a kerchief that tells them, "Oh, hey, I have an owner," and the golem wears it like a bandana, which I just think is very fun. Um, it is cute. I will say it is decent, but a lot of it is the fact that Poochie is great. But yeah, the cast of characters are pretty fun. Also, the very first party he meets, he doesn't stick with, which is always a thing I'm always a little like annoyed with in these types of stories. Is just like, yeah, you saved somebody and then you end up sticking with them. No, 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 no. And this one doesn't do that, which I think is great. He's grateful for the help because they get him out of the kingdom that he was trying to escape because they were going to, put him to slave labor, basically. Even though they had dissed him, then they were like, oh, no, we need him. So he got out of there, which is good. Okay. So this piece needs to be like that. Okay. And then this goes like this here. So yeah, it's decent. I would classify I Will Live Freely in Another World with My Equipment Manufacturing Cheat as decent. Um, uh, Another show that breaks the mold a little bit, or story, I should say, not show. I keep doing that. Is dropped in another world. Purification is basic. So this dude just like falls through the cracks of the world and gets summoned. Oh no, not that's not the fall through the cracks one. Sorry, I read a lot of these stories. This is the story of a dude. A bunch of people were getting summoned, and their summoning failed, and so he got sent to like this evil forest. Basically, it's a forest that's covered in dark miasma and black magic. Um, but he's like he's not one of those people that are like, oh, I know about these shows or these kind of stories. He's like, I guess I have magic. But basically, he has really powerful magic that allows him to purify things. He can just use it by his command. But it's great because he really doesn't understand how powerful he is and what he's doing. He's just like constantly doing the right thing. So that ends up with like these cool fox demons are like, okay, this dude rules. And then let's see. There's like um, a big spider that's like king of the spiders. It's just like, okay, yeah. Also, this is my master. Cool. But it's just like, yeah, it's all these beasts are starting to serve him because he is um, trying to erect a barrier around the forest. He's trying to like help the forest as it goes. It's slow paced. I only read a few chapters, but I was like, yeah, all right, I'll keep reading this. So I'm gonna keep reading it. I liked it. I thought it was pretty great. Um, the greatest prophet who nurtured the greatest prophet who nurtured 100 heroes. Even if he becomes an adventurer, his disciples throughout the world still yearn for him. Um, Yearn makes it sound horny, and it isn't, as far as I can tell. It's kind of cool. It's like it's not a slice of life, but it's a little like chill adventure. There's some chill adventure to it, which I liked. But the basic premise is um, our dude defeated. He was the strongest person in the world. He had this epic battle where he won, but he got really hurt. So he went to the spirit realm to heal. And he's been getting letters from all his disciples who have gone on to like fame and fortune and done really well. And 20 years later, he's like, okay, I'm gonna go check in on some people. I'm feeling healthy enough. He sealed away a lot of his powers, so he's like, I can travel the world, find the powers that I sealed, even if I am really strong. Also, the healing magic from where I am have made it so I haven't aged, and I'm just gonna go for it. So he goes with one of his companions to find his disciples, and along the way, he's helping people because he's incredibly strong and going on adventures and running into some people. And then, like, at least one of the disciples is like, I want to go with you, which is fun. And then, yeah, it's a little slow paced, but there's certainly going to be shenanigans. And I'm sure there's going to be at least one, like, legendary thing that is just like, well, now that the sage is gone, I can't be defeated. And it's just like, oh, no, no, don't worry, he's back. It's pretty good. Pretty good. That's the greatest prophet who nurtured 100 heroes. Even if he becomes an adventurer, his disciples throughout the world will still yearn for him. And then basically, yeah, it's just like him going on these adventures, trying to meet the people that he spent a lot of time with. All right, so I got these are done. These parts of we got this, and this here. All right, let's move on. Very complicated legs. This kit is one of the most complicated master grids I've built in a while, and that rules. I'm psyched about it, about how complicated it is, but I'm also surprised. All right, so we'll do it here. And the last manga that I wanted to reference here is Different World, Slow Life Begun at the Smith, which is a weird translation. But is another one of those, hey, this is different, and I'm kind of into it. So, uh, so a guy dies, and he dies of overwork because he works at a black company. He works to the bone at a company, and with poor wages, and he's never going to get ahead. And he worked too hard. He should have said no, and he didn't ever. But he gets a second life, a chance at a second life. and he says, you know, I always wanted to be like make swords, or like be a blacksmith. So could I do that? And it's like, yeah. And you know what? I'll give you some extra abilities because he the way he died was he was saving a cat. There was a god who was in the form of a cat. Uh, Pretty sure being a blacksmith is pretty hard. Not if you got cheats, my friend. Not if you got isekai cheats. Anyway, he ended up saving this cat because he loves cats, and that's how he died. And the that was a god in the form of a cat. So the god is like, I'm going to give you some cool abilities, and that'll be fun. And he says before he goes, also it'd be nice if I've seen Forged in Fire people have become blacksmith on YouTube videos. Yes, I mean they're still doing work. It's not easy, but it would be helpful if they had magic abilities. Um, but anyway, he's also like, I like cats, uh, and that comes in because as he shows up, basically, he saves a person. He saves a tiger woman, a beast woman who is a tiger, and he's like, "Stay here while you recuperate." And then she decides she's just going to stay there for a long time, and she's going to do hunting so she can get a food source. Also, he starts selling his wares, and there's a dwarf woman who is just like, "Hey, could you make me your apprentice because you're the best blacksmith I've ever seen?" Um, and so she ends up coming in, and she's just like, "Well, I want to take your last name as my name because that's what you do." And then, of course, the Tiger Woman is just like, "Well, I want to do that too," um, because the dwarf assumed they were married. Oh, because they lived together, and it's great. It's like it's a little slow paced, which is awesome. Um, the very first chapter basically implies that he will go on to make swords so strong that he hands the one to a hero and one to the demon lord, so that neither is stronger than the other, and there's balance. And that's how good. And basically, they're like fighting, and they see who has. That's like, oh no, you have that sword. Oh, okay, yeah, this is going to be a stalemate, I guess. We both have really strong swords, which is just, I don't know, that's pretty fucking cool that he's that strong as a blacksmith. Yeah, I think it's a interesting story, um, and I liked it. I'm gonna keep reading Different Worlds, Slow Life Begun at the Smith, because that is a fun show, and that's the manga that I've been reading lately. Um, Will I read more? Of course I will. I am going to try to start reading some stuff that's not isekai or reincarnation or just otherworld adventure. I'd like to put in some comedy stuff. Um, on my own, I've been reading Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out, which is the manga that the anime was based on. I don't think it was a light novel. I think it was just based on the anime. Um, you may remember from a few seasons ago. I bought some of the digital graphic novels of that, and I'm going to be reading that because I like that anime. And also, there's an episode of the anime that is just an advertisement for a particular town because it was paid for by that town. So I want to know if if they cut anything out of the manga to make room for that episode. So I want to check that out because I thought that was a fun show. So I will be checking that out. Um, I don't know if there's anything else that I know I'm going to be reading. Oh, I think there's one. Let me see my manga list. I write down some stuff that I'm like, oh, I want to check that out. So yeah, I think that is Zaki-chan Wants to Hang Out, and we're reading that. Um, I might check out. Uh, let's see. Oh yeah, I think I'm going to try. Uh, I was fired from a court wizard, so I'm going to become a rural magical teacher because that's just like, dude just got kicked out of working at the royal capital, and he picks up a teaching gig out in the boonies, but he gets put with the like troubled kids, troublemakers kids. So he's got to like turn them into proper magic people. I kind of like that idea. Um, let's see. I forget. Um, World's Strongest Hard Worker is a fantasy story that I believe I'll be checking out. I like the idea of it. I read the description and I was like, ooh, that's kind of fun. Basically, it's another one of those you get skills when you reach a certain age. And this dude got determination, which no one's ever heard of before. So they just assume it's shitty because it's not a combat skill, like Dragon Knight, which is what his childhood best friend got. So she's got to go to like the capital and like be a fighter, even though she does not want to fight. And basically he says like, hey, I'm gonna be so strong that they have to acknowledge me, and so that we can travel together. Um, so he's got to be stronger than the strongest class possible. Uh, and he does, because basically determination means that he can just learn stuff. He has to put in a lot of effort, but he will never stop learning things and learning skills, and he won't ever stop getting stronger as long as he like does things. He was born with the wisdom skill, so he can learn information about things. So he learns how to like gain skills with that. It's not like appraisal, but it's basically just like, yeah, I can look up facts on stuff. Uh, so he is going to become incredibly strong. So I'm going to give that a shot because that seemed like a fun premise. So those are at least two I know I will be reading for Monday. Uh, oh, we're into the manga discussion. Cool. Yes, Lysander, I just kind of finished up my manga chat. It was I Will Live Freely in Another World with Equipment Manufacturing Cheat, which is fine. Poochie the Fox makes that totally worth reading. His Summon Beasts make that a book decent, even though the premise is very basic. Dropped into Another World Purification is basic. Is kind of interesting because so far he has not met any other humans, and he's not clueless. He's like clueless because he hasn't read Isekai, which is kind of the goof in recent years, is that everybody has read isekai stuff and they're aware of it. He's not aware of that stuff, so he's just like kind of like he's really strong, but he's like flopping around with how strong he is, which I don't know. I like. I need 28 and 31. Oh, these are here too. Okay. Uh, the greatest prophet who nurtured 100 heroes. Even if he became an adventurer, his disciples throughout the world still yearn for him. Is fine. I like the slow pace of it. And different worlds, so life began at the Smith was good. Good. That was good. Yeah. So I enjoyed the shows that I checked out here. Um, um, I'm not talking about. One thing that was interesting was a friend of mine was just like, I tried manufacturing cheat manga and Slow Life Smith. I kind of like them. Yeah, I definitely think of those four, Slow Life was probably my favorite. The Slow Life Smith. Um, uh, I think that was really fun, just because it was like I like the tiger lady, and I like. I mean, look, a female dwarf is rare. Generally, dwarves in stories like that, you're not going to see many female dwarves, and so I thought that was just cool that was an element to it. I thought she was neat. Um, but what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so we're gonna put and that's gonna go in the. This is complicated. This kit has some stuff going on in it. Look at the other two pieces we need. Um, but yeah. Oh, I had some people. I was chatting with some people in a Discord about some anime stuff, and someone was just like, "Oh, Cheat Pharmacist is so bad. That's such a bad show. It's just like they don't even tell you why he got isekai'd, and he's like not overpowered, and he doesn't like fight anyone. It's just like he just runs a pharmacy, and people have problems that he helps solve, and like what like it's just jokes." And I was like, yeah. It's just like, well, I was just like, that's not what isekai is. And I was like, isekai just means different world. If you're trying to tell me that like um, restaurant from another world, uh, if you try to tell me restaurant to another world isn't an isekai, I mean that's a wonderful, fun story. Uh, they don't have to be action shows. It just means different world. And I was like, oh no no no. Well, you need to understand that that's a comedy show. That's a slow, a slice of life comedy show that happens to use the trappings of isekai as a as like a shortcut to get into the story. Uh, Now, if you want to say that it's not funny, that's your opinion, and you're welcome to it. But be like, Ghost Valve, yeah, I think it is fun. So here's the thing. It's also mediocre. I would say if you're looking for a more like laid back isekai of like fun stuff, then I've Been Killing Slimes for 300 Years is probably a better story. Oh, I've Been Killing Slimes for 300 Years and maxed out my level. That does have action, but that show is mostly a comedy and mostly just like cute girls from different mythical races hanging out together. So I think that does a better job. Whereas Cheat Pharmacist is like just more silly. Um, it does have some great characters, and it looks like next week's episode is going to have my favorite recurring character is going to be in it. So I'm happy about that because Paula rules. Um, Lysander says I laughed when the this is talking about the Slow Life Smith. I laughed when they first tested their first knife and it made them freak out about how sharp it is. Yes, that is very funny. And just being like, oh no, I made it too good. Oh, I made it too good. Um, but yeah, when he makes a sword that he's like, oh, I can't sell this to anyone. This is too good of a weapon. All right. Is this the right part? One of these is the right part, and the other is not the right part. That's what happened. I did the wrong thing. I goofed. This is not the right part. It looks like the right part, but it's not. So that is I-16. So, yes. But yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? That's just because people are like, oh, isekai is you die in or you are summoned and then you go on adventures, and it's just like that doesn't have to be what it is. Like one of my favorite isekai this year is the Saint's magic power is omnipotent, and that's just a fucking romance. That's just a romance story that happens to. It does have some action, but Say doesn't use any of that. She's the Saint. It's just she's surrounded by attractive men who all have a crush on her, and she has to fucking deal with that shit while also healing people and getting rid of some of the evil in the land via her magic. Uh, and it's just like that's an isekai. That's a great isekai. It's one of the best isekais this season or this year. And it's just like that's not like overpowered main character. Saint's power is omnipotent, is heckin' good. I love the slow burn romance. I love it too. That she's just like, why are these attractive men talking to me? What's happening right now? And her just being like, I love how she's like genuinely fucking pissed. She's so fucking pissed off that she gets summoned. It's one of the best responses I've ever seen to being summoned. She's just like, what's going on? Is she okay? Why are you doing this? Why did you do this? Well, and I'm not the saint. You don't think I'm the saint? Okay, well then I'm leaving. And they're like, please don't leave. She's like, well, why wouldn't I leave? And she's immediately, can I come back? And I'm like, okay, and I've got two getting followed by go ahead and yep, thank you. Thank you, Suribot. Thank you for auto blocking. I didn't even have to do it. Auto banned. Um, Suribot. I would recommend taking a look at that. That is a new bot that, as you saw there, I had those two follows from Haas. They followed my account and immediately got auto banned and also yeah, because of the block list that exists. So I didn't even have to go in and ban those accounts. And I'm sure later they'll be added to the official, not unofficial, but one of those lists. So yeah, 3 other streamers I follow had problems with that exact person. Yeah, we got followed by a different version of Haas not too long ago, but I instantly was like, oh, I'm going to ban that. Because I was like, I don't know what this is. But yeah, I just started following. Last night I set up the Seri bot, which seems, I mean, this was the first test of it. Seemed to do well. Block those accounts that I know are reborn and follow or whatever. What's the name of the bot thing? Use to block them. SERY_bot. It is a, you go to the Twitter account, you go to the Twitch account. It's got a Twitch account. So it's SERY_bot. It's also, I believe, in my, if you go to chat, users in chat, it shows up under, oh, it doesn't. I thought it showed up under moderators, but it doesn't. Okay. I thought it did, but it does not. All right, that's fine. But yeah, you can go to that, and it has instructions on the Twitter account page of, I think you have to like, lol, I went to it, and the chat is spammed with people going join. Yes. Yeah, so you go in there, you hit join, and then it will, and they're listing of like, exclamation point, auto ban, exclamation point, I can't remember what else is the other one. But yeah, it's auto ban, it's one of them, and then there's another command you use, block list or something like that. It lists all the commands you put in, and then it'll, yeah. It is one of the tools I use. I'm also, I've been using the Twitch block list manager, which is great. That's a great tool from Commander Root, and I've been using the Shush bot, which basically Shush bot you just have on another tab. You have to open it and log in before every stream, and then it has a panic button, and I can hit that panic button, and it will put my chat into emote only, and it will make it, it'll turn on some certain filters that will ban accounts if they spam the same thing, or variations, because you can't add, because they're like, well, just add new words to your auto ban list. Well, they use characters that are non-English in that, so they can, they'll use like a character instead of an A, so that they can write certain words, or an I. And but there's so Twitch software doesn't work well with that, but there's other software that exists that can take advantage and fix that stuff. So okay, so this is gonna go like this. This is gonna go like this. So yeah, I use a combination of all those things, because what's their name, Bolt, stopped doing their block list, so because they were getting too many people mad about false positives, and they were getting harassed from people who were like, well, also they were getting harassed from people who were assholes, who were like, why am I on your block list? All I do is, I don't do anything. And people were like, yeah, we have chat logs though, so we know you do. But that person was just getting harassed too much. So they were like, well, the list doesn't exist, so now you don't have to worry about it. And I can understand if you get added to a block list and you didn't, it's a false positive. I can understand being mad about that. But my answer to that is, what you doing? Like there was somebody who was just like, I was just making a joke. This is a while ago, where somebody was just like, I was making a joke in your chat. Why did I get banned? Like me and my friend were just joking, and it was like, oh, you mean that part where you said a very hurtful thing about me? Yeah, I don't need that. They're like, I'm like, yeah, I can ban anybody I want at any time. You can still watch, you just can't chat. So watch and enjoy, but don't think that I'm gonna be like allowing you. Like, here's the thing: this is my chat. It's not a free country here. This is mine. So I'm responsible. I am, as the streamer, responsible for everything that happens in my chat. So, which is why I put it emote only when I'm not streaming, because that is a fun tactic that people like to do now, which is have their bots, their chat bots go in to someone who is not, when they're not streaming, and write a bunch of stuff in their chat, and then another account will report that chat, which is fun, and but not, it's not fun. It fucking sucks. So I basically try to make sure that I am not dealing with any of that shit. All right, we're gonna finish up part of this leg here in a moment, and then we'll take a pause for the cause in a bit. But I want to get this part done here. So I need L24. Uh, the bear. This is bear country. Beware of bears. Indeed. I mean, that's the thing. It's just like, look, I got a lot going on right now. I don't have mods. I At some point I will grow to the point where I will need mods, but I am not at that point right now. So I do rely on Nightbot. I do rely on auto mod stuff. I think that's totally reasonable to do. But also, because I don't have like mods to like second guess and like to like mute someone for like a minute and message them going, okay, just so you know, this broke our community standards. You're, like, hey, check out this page to read them. Like, I don't have time for that. I'm one man. So, you know, if I don't like what you're up to, I'll ban you. And then, hey, I'm benevolent enough that you can. That's rude. That's rude of me to say. I am reasonable enough that I have that setting turned on where you can plead your case if you think that I have impartially banned you. Um, and you can state your reason. I've never had that turn. One time, someone was just like, somebody had like complimented me in a way that seemed like it was sarcastic right after some people had talked some shit. So I banned like three people, and I guess I was only supposed to ban two. Although I will say, hey, as a general rule, no streamer wants you to talk about their physical appearance unless they bring it up. Like, if I am like, hey, I changed my hair, check this shit out. How cool is this? And you say in the chat, oh, that looks awesome. Or, oh, I like you with long hair. Like, that is an invitation for you as an audience, as a viewer, to jump in and hang out in that. But like unprompted, if you are like, um, hey, hey, your beard looks good today. I don't want, I don't want you. Thanks for thinking of that. I don't want you to type that in the chat. I just don't want that. What's the end goal of that reporting chat thing? Oh, to get accounts banned. That is a way to get accounts banned without having to run scripts to torment them. It is to attack marginalized streams to say, hey, this streamer, this generally person who is working, like who is an affiliate or even a partner, look at they can't even control their chat. And so some people get timed outs, or they get like delays, times where they can't run ads or make money. Um, and it usually gets cleared up because you're like, look, I was attacked. But Twitch is, for all its money that it is understaffed, and it is in its resources to help people. It does not have enough humans who are actively working to help the community. They just don't have enough staff for that. So people do get like, you have to be big enough to get Twitch to notice they fucked up. Keep it down here. It's actually sometimes very hard. Like, you have to either catch a break that someone who works for Twitch knows you, or you have to have like be big, or know someone who is a big time streamer who can retweet or reach out to their contact. Like, if something happened to my Twitch account, I would say, hey, person I know who works for Twitch, I'm not asking you to help me. I'm asking you to forward this, or to tell me who to reach out to that can help me, because you don't work in this department. But I'm fucked right now. These are my circumstances. What do you recommend I do? Um, and so I would be doing that. I would reach out like that. Um, because I know someone who works for Twitch, which means that I can, hopefully reach out to that person and be like, hey, like, I'm looking for guidance. This is what happened to me. Not everybody has that. So a lot of times they gotta just hope that, like, there are people who've had accounts banned for weeks and weeks, and then eventually things get straightened out because they have to make enough noise on their own to get a human to look at them because they were just like, it was automated, and automated just like, look, their automated system can't tell you that that chat happened while they don't, their automated system does not understand that chat came in when you weren't streaming. So it's clearly a bunch of fake chat messages. They just say, look at all these words that shouldn't be in chat. This is clearly a toxic stream, so ban. Because you as a streamer are responsible for your stream. All right, we're gonna pause this here because we got to put a bunch of armor on this thing because we are getting far along in these legs, which are built very weirdly in a way that I really appreciate. But anyway, the thing we have to do is, I gotta look at this. We got to do a pause for the cause where I talk about ways you can support the channel. I'm going to drink a little water first, and then we're going to do a pause for the cause. If you are currently a streamer, it's not a streamer, if you're currently a subscriber, you can throw the Barricade, the Lego, the Site, the Moat in the chat. Let the people know you are a subscriber. So people can get an idea. It's September, so you can save money. If you want to become a subscriber, use Cash Money, or you want to convert a gifted sub that someone gave you a gifted sub, and you want to convert that to a regular subscription, you can save money for 1 month. If you want to gift a sub to somebody, you want to join the gift sub leaderboard like Sin and Aristophan, you could do that by gifting a subscription. You would save money as well on those gifted subs. Bits and coins always appreciated. But yeah, subscribing is an easy way to support the channel. And to support me and to let me know that you're, psyched about what I'm doing here. All of the things I want to talk about here are optional. None of these things are required, but if you would like to contribute, that would be great. If subscribing on Twitch is not something you're interested in doing, you could instead join my Patreon, patreon.com/PatBear. Also use code footlongs 599 at Subway's website for $6 footlong. Okay, yes, September. Very good, Lashbrook. Patreon.com/PatBear is the Patreon link. I have a $1, a $3, a $5, and a $10 tier. Take a look at that. Different tiers, different rewards at each tier. Consider looking at it. I got to shoot it. It's been too long since I shot a video. I'm going to shoot a new video for Patreon, a new welcome video. Try to draw up some support there because I've just been losing it. People, which is fine. I understand that people want to be like, you know what, I'm not going to do Patreon anymore. I've done it for a bunch of months. I get that, but I got to get new people to come in, which I haven't. Also, I have a YouTube channel, and you can subscribe to my YouTube for free, obviously, but there's a join, which is $2 a month. And if you join that, you can, unrecognized comment. What happened there? Paste YouTube. There it is. That was weird. But yeah, if you join my Patreon or my YouTube, the join $2 a month, you get one video a day early every single week. So my Wednesday videos you get on Tuesday. That is a small thing I can do. We'll get back to building soon, folks. I do want to just quickly go through these things here. Also, direct donations. You could do that if you want to do a one-time donation instead of like subscribing monthly. You could do a one-time thing because everything I make through Patreon and Twitch and AdSense through YouTube goes to buying model kits and equipment, and specifically model kits. Right now, I don't need more equipment, but I do always need more model kits. So your money, direct donations or monthly, goes into a fund, and I buy kits with that money. Now, the thing I want to point out is, which is pretty fucking cool, is this kit that I'm building right now was bought off my Amazon wish list. And as I said earlier in the stream, I have a backlog, but that backlog gets skipped. So like I have a couple kits, and I was like, oh, I'm going to work on those kits. But then the H2 Magnum came in from my wish list, and I was like, well, I got to build that now. because if you buy something off my wish list, it comes to me, obviously. I shoot a little quick video about it that goes on my YouTube about the kit and you, if you include your name. And then I built it. So I've got Lego sets here that are expensive or inexpensive. I got some of the new Speed Champions that just cool cars that I don't know nothing about except they look cool. A Ninjago motorcycle that would be neat to build. Some inexpensive model kits, some expensive model kits. Mistress Rosa is now following. Thank you for the follow, Mistress Rosa. Appreciate that. We'll get back to building real soon. Right now, I'm just doing my ad break. I got inexpensive kits, expensive kits, things that should not cost as much as they do, but do because everything is expensive. And a couple pieces of equipment at the bottom of the stream or bottom of the list. As I said, I'll shoot a video and then you jump the queue when I make those things. Always happy to meet fellow model kit builders. Very nice. Yeah, I'm doing my ad reads in the middle of streams. Appreciate you being here. I do model kit building on Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. We're working on the Age 2 Magnum right now, master grade, working on the legs. But this is my ad break. I'll be done in just a minute. Don't worry about it. I have a Discord. People can join my Discord. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. Right now, we got a bunch of Lego lovers in the Discord posting stuff they're working on, which has been very cool. Love seeing Slowbird's Lego stuff. And people promote themselves in there, what they're working on. So join my Discord. It's honestly very chill. I'm in some Discords where people get fucking heated about some shit. And they have to have mods. And my Discord is just like, hey, this new thing's for sale, or hey, I'm streaming, or check out the thing I built. I didn't like it, and it's just like these windshield screens are too narrow, and you can't put a minifig in this Lego set. It's comparatively incredibly chill, which is great. A couple video links I'll share with you, and then we'll get back to building. Pat Bear's Anime Club is my every other Monday video series. Where I explore a topic or a theme and make a YouTube video about some anime stuff because I like talking about anime. I'll have a new one up on Monday, but the most recent episode of Pet Bear's Anime Club, the last one I put up, was me talking about 3 shows from the current anime season that I think are fucking cool. And the other video I put in is the best of Build With Baer. That is just clips from the stream. It's just one clip every week with embedded closed caption. And this week's best of Build With Baer is me just being flabbergasted at catching finding a legendary Pokemon after catching a legendary Pokemon, and just the weirdness of Pokemon randomizers. That's actually next Wednesday's stream will be another episode of the Pokemon Fire Red randomizer, which is just a delight. So we'll be back in that because that is my favorite thing to stream non-model kit building right now is doing that. That is just a treat. Anyway, that's all my ads. We're going to get back to building, and I'm going to talk about some anime that I watched since our last stream. I'll put that in chat. I'm going to drink a little more water because my throat's dry because it is warm in this room. All right, back to the Magnum. And we've got our waist, we've got our chest and arms and head. We're working on the legs. These legs are coming together now. We're going to put some side armor on. We need M1 and M2, which is right here. We are panel lining as we go. I didn't panel line the purple. Doesn't really, like, none of my markers really shine on the purple, but hitting this white with gray will look very good. So we will do that. All right, so 2 and 6 on the other side. Okay. Yeah, so we'll just go around here, and then I'm going to talk to you about some anime that I watched since our last stream. It's weird that I watch Tsushima on the internet because this is airing on television in Japan, but nobody picked it up here in the U.S. So you can legally watch it on the production company's YouTube. It's got international, and if you put closed captioning on, you can read it in English, which is neat. That is a neat thing that that they do. I think that is very cool. Um, but also there's net animation. So there is stuff that is made for YouTube, which uses like the same art style, but it's not the episodes that air on TV in Japan. But I actually think that they're not as good as Tsushima's, whatever. So that is the explanation of this little series. But they're like 1 minute episodes, and in this episode, Tsushima, who is the cat that used to be a wild cat but now lives with this old lady that he calls a gentleman because he didn't know that she was an old lady. She thought he was an old man. Anyway, he has a tooth problem and he has to go to the vet. But she promised him that he would never have to go to the vet again. So Tsushima is run away. And I assume that next week, which will be the last episode, there will be some sort of resolution. But yeah, that's the episode. Is just that the up until that point, the dentist had been making, or sorry, the vet had been making house calls, but couldn't make house calls for this. So she broke her promise, and now he's out. So that's that one episode. And then my next life as a villainess. All routes lead to doom. Some fucking shit went down. This second season, because this is X, because the second season. Most of it was like, okay, all right, well, they have to put on a play, and okay, and then like, oh, they went to this place that is haunted or whatever. Like it was very like, all right. There was a big thing where she got kidnapped, and it was part of a larger evil plot. So that definitely happened. That definitely was plot and was like a big event, but that was the only big event this season. It's kind of been just like whatever. Yeah, second half. So the second half of this season is wild because the first season was a really dedicated plot. Like it followed the plot of like, okay, this year she has to change things because if nothing changes, her best case scenario is she'll be exiled. And she doesn't understand that she has already changed everyone and nothing will happen. But like some stuff does go down. Like there is plot to it. This season, there really hasn't been. It's just been the further adventures of Katarina and friends. And yes, Giorno, the prince, has been making legit advances because he's like, hey, I'm tired of you not understanding that I'm in love with you. I figured you would get it at some point. So now I just have to like really hammer it home because Katarina does not understand that there are, let's see, how many men wanted? There are 4 men that want to date her and 1 woman that wants to date her. There is another woman that wants to spend the rest of her life with her, but is not romantic. And then there's another woman that wants her to marry one of the aforementioned 4 men instead. And then one of the dudes is very much like, I'm pretty much giving up, but I'm still going to make this difficult. And then the other dudes are like, no, we're all gonna make this work. So it's heating up in that. But then one of those dudes is her younger brother, but they are not actually related, so don't freak out. They're not blood related. Um, but he was raised. She's basically just like when he moves in to live with them. She's just like, hey, call me sis. I'll be your big sis. Which is great. And she does treat him like they're blood related. So it is weird that he has always been in love with her. It's weird. Keith's got some stuff going on. Anyway, Keith got fucking kidnapped. And at first you were like, oh, okay. He got kidnapped by his half-brother who was fallen in disgrace. The family never loved Keith, but they also didn't love this fucking dude. And so he is like, he wanted to take revenge on Keith. And we found out in this episode, he was manipulated by this woman who uses dark magic because she is experimenting. She's trying to summon a dark magic familiar, we learn later in this episode, by using Keith as basically, everything's going good for him. He was always miserable as a kid, but he's had a good life now. So the idea is that like by wallowing in sadness and being swallowed by dark energy, this woman can make a familiar appear, basically. which is interesting and fucked up. But hey, that doesn't happen because they find um, a weak spot in the defenses of the place that Keith's being held. They run into Keith's brother, who is somehow hurt. And my guess is they don't spell it out. My guess is that Keith's brother is being exposed to all this dark magic covering Keith, and he gets hurt by being exposed to it because he's a weak-willed individual. Um, but Katarina is not affected by dark magic. She's been hurt by dark magic before, but this dark magic, she's just like, yeah, whatever. Um, she is fucking really scared that Keith isn't going to wake up because he's in like this nightmare world being swallowed by this darkness. So that shit has fucking happened to him. But he is like, uh, anyway, she's just like, I'm mad about this. I wish, I wrote it down. Um, she says, when she finds the culprit, she'll wrap them in black snakes. Um, and she's got this like locket that she got like the previous episode, or this little mirror magic item, uh, and that activates somehow from her will. She basically like makes it happen, and she turns the black magic into physical form, so it looks like snakes, and then she just like rips it off of Keith and starts hammering it and hitting it. Uh, and then she's just like, this thing could change its shapes. If it looked like a puppy, I might have been lenient on it, which is a weird thing to say, but that's very Katarina, to just be like, yeah, if this thing was cute, it would be another story. Anyway, Keith wakes up, and because she removed the black magic, the dark magic, he was able to hear her words and pull himself out of it, which is awesome. But also, he's in a half delirious dream state when he comes to and is like, oh, Katarina saved me. This is a great dream. I'm going to kiss her. And he does. And then he passes out. And everyone's just like, what the fuck just happened? Um, and then there's no time to think about how Keith just kissed his adopted sister, because the what's left of the dark magic literally becomes a puppy, and it's a jet black dog, and it likes Katarina because, I don't know, the magic thing that she had changed it, maybe, or uh, dark magic seems to like Katarina. I don't know. Anyway, she's just like, oh, this thing's cute. And it's just like, what are you talking about? And then the lady that's behind all this shows up, and she's just like, oh, you're weird. I tried to make a dark familiar, but for some reason it chose you. How did you do that? And then Katarina's just literally like, she's not being coy. She's just like, I have no idea. And then that lady leaves. She's like, you're interesting. So I guess we're setting up for future problems with this lady who they did not defeat or capture. Um, I saw a comment on this episode saying, even dark magic falls in love with Katarina. Ooh, that's a good comment because it's true. The whole thing of this show is if you are earnest and nice, that people are just like captivated by this girl. That just like can't get enough of this like real nice lady. Um, they just end up captivated. Anyway, um, she names the dog Spot, which is very silly. I mean, it sounds like she's calling it Spotto, but the translation that I saw on Crunchyroll labeled it as Spot. So we'll go with that. All right, I need 24, 20, and 19. Sorry, 19 and 20. Gotta find. There they are. There's the other piece. Um, Anyway, that dog now can live in her shadow, and and the maid is just like, this is weird. Uh, are you sure? But right now we got a little dog pup, which is which is fun. Um, oh, also Jordo kisses Katarina because he's like, hey, Keith kissed you. I gotta reaffirm that's not happening. Then Keith wakes up. He kisses Katarina. Um, once he realizes that he did kiss her and that wasn't a dream, he's like, yeah, well, I am in love with you. Um, and confesses. And then she's confused, but no one else is confused. They're mostly just like annoyed. Like Jordo's like, well, she's mine. And Mary's like, no, she's not. It's like, yeah, Katarina doesn't belong to anybody, which is true. Just because they're engaged does not mean that Jordo controls or owns Katarina. That's some bullshit, dude. I know you're in love with her, and I know you are. She is supposed to be your bride, but like, come the fuck on, man. Be cool. Um, Also, small thing. Um, Maria now has the magical teddy bear Alexander, which I think is great because Alexander seems to be the only thing in the known universe that isn't in love with Katarina, and I love that that exists. He's just a, mischief making little bear friend, teddy bear, like magic teddy bear, and I like that. I like that there exists a character in this universe that is just like not instantly in love with Katarina. I'm sure he will it eventually, but I think that is fun. Um, but yeah, they're like, hey, I love that Maria's like, I came to cheer you up. I brought Alexander, which Keith had. Here's the thing. They started using Alexander to help track down Keith. Keith has never met that teddy bear. It's like a really weird thing for her to be like, I brought the teddy bear. I brought this teddy bear to cheer you up. And it's like, what? Because Sophia's like, I brought you this book. And he's like, he doesn't read those books. He doesn't read romance novels. It was just very funny that was the thing that she brought. I brought you this top magical teddy bear you've never seen before. Anyway, that was a good episode of My Next Love is a Villainess. Villainous, all routes lead to doom. And I imagine next week, which is the last episode of the season, I gotta imagine that is some sort of fallout from the tug of war. But I also hope it involves that dog more, because that rules. She's got herself a dark familiar, and that is fucking neat. Um, it's also good because one thing Katarina doesn't have is magical abilities. So, and then the last show that I watched today is how a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom. Hey, welcome. This is Jim, Jimmy Tudu. Welcome. Um, Welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop, where I build model kits and we talk about all kinds of things, including anime. I have the Katarina Netoroid. It's really cute. Oh, yeah, I bet that's cute. Um, that's a book I should read. I should read the spin-off uh, of My Next Life as a Villainess, the one where she wakes up in high school. I have to allow that. I gotta allow Ho. Uh, Mistress, I had to include that. For some reason, it was just like, hey, do you want to include this? Nightbot was like, oh, you don't speak English? That's fine. Here, the thing for everybody is feel free to just hang out. You don't have to engage in chat if you're unable to or don't want to. If you would like to chat during streams, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, enjoy. I'm working on a model kit. I'm going to be talking about some stuff. I hope this is good, considering that I am speaking English. I hope things work out. But yes, I like that it comes with that is the gear that comes with that. But yeah, I should read that one where she wakes up. She doesn't like remember that she's in this game until she already gets to high school. So the characters that from the game are more like they are that, instead of when she's a child, suddenly remembering her history and having a lot of time to be able to kind of like fix stuff. I was like, oh, I should read that. That does sound interesting. All right, so this is going to go here. Oops, that flew off. All right, so let's talk about how a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom. This is getting fucking good. We got some good storyline stuff happening in this. This is a little bit of a slower show, but the action is heating up. But like our main character is not an overpowered main character. He's got like a skill, but it's mostly that he's just determination, and and being pretty intelligent, and then also surrounding himself with good people. Anyway, um, the Civil War is happening, but basically it looked like the three kingdoms, the three dukedoms, I should say, they were all going to go their separate ways. Well, he already got one of them on his side, and then he was like, okay, so I've got the armed forces, I've got the air force to deal with, and then also there's this neighboring kingdom who is using this as an excuse to try to mess with us. Uh, I can't. I'm sorry. I do not speak Spanish. So I will be unable to do that on stream. Um, that is not a language that I know. Um, so yeah, my apologies. Um, I only know English. I know words in a few other languages, but not enough to converse in those languages. So yeah, my apologies. Let's see. We did L, and then let's see. Okay, yeah. So he already got the Navy to be cool with him, and you know you'd expect he was going to go and attack the Duke that spent the most trouble, the Army Duke Carmine. Well, he doesn't go and attack Carmine. He attacks the Navy, and he took out the Navy, and he a combination of Aisha and Lycia take out uh, Castor Vargas, who is the Duke of the Skies. So they're defeated. Now he's got the Navy, or he's got the Air Force on his command, and he sends the Air Force to go give him a hand taking on Carmine. And Carmine, we figured this out. This was all his. He had a big fucking plot. So the nobility that um, was kicked out, well, they were just going to go to another country. So that wasn't the plan. Instead, Carmine came up with this Civil War plan that they expected to lose, so that these nobles would be caught up in it, and then they wouldn't be able to escape. That was his big plan, and it definitely assumed a lot. It basically assumed that um, that Soma was like going to win, which he is going to win. But one thing that was not expected by Carmine, who then surrenders, is, oh yeah, don't worry about that. You're not going to even meet Soma. Once he finished this, he's just going to take your forces with him, and they're going to go deal with the Crown Prince of Amadonia, who is like, his forces, like they don't have a lot of army, so they all are invaded, and they got stuck, and they didn't even attack anyone. And while they're attacking, instead of sending his forces to attack them, he was like, Soma's just like, no, we're going to go take your capital city because it's right on the border. We're going to go take over Van. So then their troops are like, oh, fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck. So they're like, okay, we're going to hightail it back. The fastest way is to go through this one valley that you could definitely be ambushed in. And they're like, yeah, but we got to get there. And they totally get ambushed, and we don't really see it. That's mostly told, unfortunately, which is the problem with this show, is that they do tell you things that happened because they are trying to tell a pretty detailed manga or light novel in 12 episodes. Or maybe they have 13, I can't remember. This one might be the 13. There's only a few shows this season that have 13. But anyway, we find out that the Navy set up a thing, and then also they've been trying to restock by grabbing a bunch of people along the way. So their numbers are big, but they don't have like strong soldiers. And it doesn't really matter because they're going to walk up to the fact that Soma's kingdom has now invaded and taken over Van. Trying to save on funds for later animations. Yeah, well, Lysander, I think the real thing is just that this show is very detailed, and so there are things that are just cut for time. But instead of just like cutting things that don't matter, they do matter. So instead of cutting them and not seeing it in the show, they just like explain it away, like, oh yeah, a bunch of people, look, they had the forces of this many forces, and then we attacked them, and now they have this many. So they don't even like bother showing that scene. They just like tell you a little bit and move on. Like they were able to move a bunch of stuff because they got these giant rhinoceros monsters to help out. In the manga, you see the scene where the girl that can speak to animals is convincing these rhinos that are not tamed to help out because they are promised like really tasty food, and then they agree to it. And it's like a cute little scene. It's short, but it's a cute little scene. That's not in the anime because they're just like, hey, we got the rhinos thanks to, I forget the girl's name's help, which is a shame because she's barely in the show. And so to take one of her scenes away is a bummer. Um, but uh, but it is like a fun little bit of business that she's just like, they're like, how did you move all this stuff? Well, we promised the rhinos cool food and like a nice place to live, and they were like, sure, we'll help you out. Um, which is just very smart. Anyway, that is yeah. So this is definitely like some shit's going down. Uh, things picked up on the show. I really like how a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom. I mean, like I said, it's got action, but the main character is not super overpowered. He's just a smart guy doing the best he can. That like studied civil service and like is a history buff. So he has like, and then he also did the smart thing of like surrounding himself with a bunch of people and not thinking small. He thinks big. He was like, okay, we've got a food shortage. Here are the long term ways to help this. Here's the short term ways to help this. We owe this money to these people. We got to pay that money fast. That'll give us time. I've got this insurrection. I'm not going to worry about each duke at this individually. I'm worried about all the dukes, and also I'm worried about the kingdom that is trying to take advantage of this. And he does this like rousing speech of like how in a time that everyone is facing the demon lords, these barbarians are like coming in to steal land from us, which is just very smart. That he's like, nah, just to like get public opinion on his side. And then he's like, I'm not going to fight you. You're all like, you're not by your capital. I'm just going to attack your capital instead. Which makes a lot of sense. Anyway, it's a good show. Speaking of shows, let me ask y'all: what are you watching? What are you enjoying right now? What's got you're liking stuff? Just finished up the last episode of series 2 of Taskmaster New Zealand. And upon reflection, upon it being over, it is my second favorite season of any Taskmaster, and I never thought a non-UK Taskmaster would ever like get into the top 5. But it's such a good season. It's such a good balance of people who are like real weird, but also want to play the game. And like their first season was okay, but this one really hit its stride. It's so good. I really recommend it. You can find it on YouTube. Um, and it is, I think Ozman is the name of the account that puts them up. But it is such a strong season. And also, they announced the next series for Taskmaster UK is coming out. So I'm excited for that because I really like Taskmaster, and I can't believe it. It still works. It still works as a show. Still very good. But yeah, the Sweden one I kind of gave up on. The language barrier I think is just too strong to overcome. There's just so much going on in it that having to read it makes it very difficult to love that, which is a shame because I think it is cool. Some of it is cool, but yeah, it's a hard watch. And then I mean, the American one is bad, and I have not seen. I think there's one other one that I have not seen, but uh, I mean, my favorite didn't win. But what are you gonna do? That happens on those shows. Like, kind of who cares who wins, but also, I wanted Guy Montgomery to win because Guy Montgomery is a great dude. And it was just fun to have like a podcaster I listened to, like was on Taskmaster, like did a great job. It was just really fun. Yeah, what are y'all up to? Anybody watching anything? Um, uh, People excited about all the college football that was on this weekend, or the Masters that was on, or I don't know what else. is there F1 races that people are going gaga for? Is that happening right now? I don't know. Uh, like yeah, what are y'all into right now? What's getting you psyched? Or if you're catching up on old stuff, if you're like if you're watching the new Matrix trailer over and over again and you can't fucking wait for it and you're just like, what a good fucking trailer. Like yeah, let me know. Let me know in the chat what y'all are up to and into. Um, I've been um, I am now finished with the last most recent um, Dimension 20 arc. That was our story that was fucking incredible. So good. I love the idea of like normal Americans going to a Hogwarts and just being like, what the fuck's going on here? Uh, and just very, very good. Very great story. Uh, and just watching Brendan Lee Mulligan just be just a nightmare of a player, like in a good way. But Brendan Lee Mulligan is just such a smart person and just knows the character he's playing so well that he's just an overwhelmingly wonderful force at a table. And yeah, it was really fun to watch that story unfold. Um, Aristophan says, "Oh yeah, a bunch of people said how." Sorry, Mistress says, "I'm excited for Yuki Yuna. Is a Hero season 3 coming this fall." I don't know Yuki Yuna. I'm gonna have to like check that out because you're not the first person that said that they are excited for that, and that is not like I've saw that on the upcoming. I saw that an upcoming of like, oh, this is a show that's coming out, but I don't know enough about it to be like one of the people excited about it. So I'm gonna have to investigate because I know there's more coming. Wristfan says, I did watch the F1 sprint race for the Italian Grand Prix. The full race is tomorrow. There you go. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. I haven't really, I've looked at next season. Like, I think Skeleton Knight got pushed to next year, right? I'm kind of interested. I didn't like the manga. Maybe I'll like the anime if they like change some stuff. Because maybe I would have liked the light novel of the assassin gets isekai'd as a elite or whatever. But it's basically like an assassin who gets a second chance, but he has to become a magical assassin. And it's kind of interesting. I don't know if it's going to be good, but the premise was interesting. So I'm like, keep saying interesting. So I don't know. That sounded pretty good. And then the guy who gets kicked out of the heroes party, and so he becomes like a pharmacist, and then seems like I think they're going to tone down that from the manga a lot because the manga is like the hero that he was like childhood friends with that he helped raise, who once he like leaves, I mean she's psychotic. So I think they're definitely going to have to tone that down for the show. I don't know if they will, but I think they need to. But that one seems like I don't know. It's still a romance. Like even if there's going to be action in it, it's still like a kind of like two people that never really got the chance to be romantic. Like this dude that was supposed to help the heroes party, and then this princess who wanted to be an adventurer, uh, basically living together and owning a small pharmacy. I'm like, pretty good. Kicked out of Hero Party has a lot going in the series, and I'm looking forward to what they focus on. Yeah, because that's to me. To me, I want it to be. I want them to focus on this like girl that is like, yeah, I mean, things are weird in my country, so I'm not really being a princess right now. I'm more interested in like getting to know you better, dude, because we didn't we hung out together very briefly. We like were in the same party briefly, but like you helped me a lot and I've had a crush on you. So now I want to like live with you and work for you. Is very interesting part. And so I hope they focus on that more than the like thing of, a hero doesn't have any experience. So every hero has like a young person with a lot of talent, like high levels up front to guide them and keep them alive, and then the hero will outpace them eventually. Like that's an interesting premise that I don't mind exploring, but I'd actually really rather focus on the kind of like romance stuff. Um, Lysander says, I've been reading a manga called Theron at the Funeral, which is a story about an elf who outlives her adventuring party by accident and learns how to view time like mortals. It's quite pretty and has some nice travels and contemplations. That does sound lovely. Ooh, I am going to write that down as a thing I might check out. I really like that premise. Yeah, elves outlive, humans. So why wouldn't uh, we focus on that as a story? That seems neat. I'm going to write that down. And then Dirty says, I finally caught the U.S. versus Honduras match the other night and pretty psyched over their win and placement in the rankings. Just 11 more matches between now and next March. Okay, well, good on you. Uh, that is not a sport that I pay any attention to, but as always, I want people to be happy and I want their teams to do well and them to be happy that their teams are doing well. So I hope your team is doing well. I hope that rules. Okay. So I have gotten these legs basically built now. These legs are complicated and weird, but they're built. Uh, oh, I gotta put more on there. Okay. So I gotta like fold this down so I can put more pieces on it, and then I'll be able to fold it back up. Okay. This is just so much. Yay for the footy, says Goldfalf. Ooh, let's see. Uh, I've gotten 2 new follows. Are either of these going to be auto banned? Let's see. Nope, didn't look like they were. Okay, no good. Yep, okay. They have been auto banned. Yep, so that one was. Uh, let's check this other person out who is created an hour ago. All right, so we're going to go ahead and to ban that. Great. And there we go. I don't know if that person was. Look, that person created an account an hour ago and followed me as soon as 2 new accounts followed me. So, Malo would bloat. Uh, if you are a real person, I apologize for banning you. Send me a tweet. Pat Bear is my Twitter account if you are a real person. But you followed me moments after 2 obvious fake accounts followed me and were insta banned or auto banned. More hosses followed me. Uh, real fun, real fun. I want to check that real quick. Real fun that we get these things. Great, an hour ago. Yep. Okay. Yep. All right. I don't know if that person was also they didn't get auto banned, so they might be a real person, but they followed me the moment that those 2 other fake accounts followed me. So forget that. I don't need that in my life. All right, let's get a little bit more of this. So we're gonna finish these legs, feet done. Nah, I got to do more on the feet. We're not gonna finish this tonight. There's more to do on this. We'll get to it in the future. We got a lot done. The problem is that we've got all these components for the legs, but we didn't actually like finish any of them. We just got like all these pieces done, which is fine. But yeah, it is just we got a lot done here. We did get a lot done. It just doesn't look like it. But then on Monday we'll be able to put all this together, uh, and then it'll be like, oh, cool, we're done with the legs, and then we put on the waist, and we're body complete on the kit, and then it's time to build the extra shoulder things and the weapons. So we have more to do, but we are getting there. Um, so a thing we are going to do is we're going to raid a stream. We do raid at the end of every stream. We'll go out and uh, send some love out to somebody who's doing something cool out there. So we will do that. I got to go see who is doing stuff, who is streaming tonight that I would like to go and quote unquote bother, which is not a bother. It is just me uh, going and checking somebody out. Let's see who's doing stuff. When did they start streaming? Um, let me see when they started. Sorry. When did Taro start streaming? Because wouldn't mind rating my friend Taro. Let's see. When did you start streaming? Oh, 37 minutes ago. Okay. So we're going to do a weird stream, friends. We're going to go raid a VTuber. I rarely raid VTubers, but I know this person personally. I know the person behind the VTube. And she's playing Minecraft and she rules. So we're going to go give her a raid. Because look, maybe you don't watch a lot of VTuber streams, but this VTuber is great. And also, while I am not the kind of person, she has said who she is somewhat. She doesn't want you to call her by her real name, but if you hear her voice, you may recognize her from some podcasts. Yes, Lashbrook, I am not going to break kayfabe. She has said, "Hey, I have this VTube account," but she doesn't go out of her way to say it. But if you hear her voice, you may recognize her. You may recognize the baby voices she put on in the past when she was on certain podcasts and doing certain live streams in the past. So you may recognize her for a particular website that she used to work for. But she's great. So we're going to go raid Taro. Um, uh, oh, she has follower or subscriber only chat, so you have to follow her to chat in there. But I think you're gonna have a good time because she's wonderful. So thanks so much for watching the stream. I hope you have a great rest of your night. I'll see you in the future. Let's go on this raid. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.